Ladies and gentlemen, when the weight of the world feels as though it's resting upon your shoulders, and the actions of those around you seem like a constant barrage of hurt and disdain, know this: you are not alone. In times of conflict, when the world seems intent on tearing you down, there is a power greater than any individual, greater than any obstacle, that stands with you. The battles you face, those struggles with a person who seeks to destroy your peace, are not without purpose. In fact, it is in those moments of trial that God moves in ways you cannot yet see. When a narcissist rises against you, the first thing you need to understand is that God sees the truth. Even when the lies and manipulations of others distort reality, God sees every injustice, every word, and every action, and He does not sit idly by. He sees your suffering and your pain, and He is moved with compassion. He knows the heart of every individual, and He sees the truth of their intentions. You do not need to fight your battle alone. God is watching. He knows what's happening, and He will defend you. Second, God brings peace in the midst of the storm. When you find yourself in the eye of the hurricane, when the winds of chaos threaten to tear your soul apart, God has a way of calming the storms in your life. He does not promise that there won't be any storms, but He does promise that He will be there in the midst of them. The peace that He offers is not like the world's peace. It is a peace that transcends understanding, a peace that guards your heart and mind even when everything around you is falling apart. Trust in His promise. His peace will sustain you when the world tries to bring you down. Third, God strengthens you to stand firm. In moments when the narcissist's words and actions threaten to overwhelm you, God gives you the strength to stand firm. You do not have to bow down to the insults or the manipulations. You do not have to be moved by the tactics of the enemy. With God's strength, you can stand tall, unshaken by the winds of adversity. He equips you with the courage to speak the truth, to walk in righteousness, and to remain firm in the knowledge that you are His beloved child. You are not defined by the words of the wicked, but by the love of the Creator who has called you His own. Fourth, God removes what is harmful. When someone seeks to harm you, it may feel as though they have power over your life. But let me tell you this: nothing, absolutely nothing, is beyond God's control. He has the power to remove that which is harmful to you. He will move obstacles from your path, whether it's through changing circumstances, influencing hearts, or even taking individuals out of your life. God will protect you from the things that threaten your well-being, even when you cannot see how He's working behind the scenes. Trust in His timing. Trust in His plan. Finally, God restores what has been broken. When you feel as though you have been battered by words, bruised by actions, and left with nothing but the remnants of your spirit, God is a God of restoration. He can take what has been destroyed and make it whole again. He can heal the wounds that have been inflicted upon you and renew your strength. God is the great restorer. He does not just repair the brokenness, He transforms it into something even more beautiful than it was before. So when the narcissist comes against you, remember this: God is with you. He sees, He acts, and He will deliver. He will bring you through this trial stronger, wiser, and more confident in His unfailing love. Your story is not over. It is being written by the hand of the one who has the final say. Keep your faith and know that your victory is certain, because God is on your side. In the midst of life's challenges, particularly when you're facing someone who seeks to harm you, it can often feel as though you are invisible, like no one sees the injustice or the pain that is being inflicted upon you. The world can sometimes feel indifferent, as though your suffering is going unnoticed. But this is a lie. The truth is, there is a higher power, a divine witness who sees every tear, hears every cry, and knows every hurt. In times of trouble, when others may turn a blind eye, know that God never does. He sees it all. There are moments when you feel betrayed, when the actions of others seem deliberately aimed at bringing you down. It may be a narcissist or someone else who uses manipulation, lies, or deceit to distort the truth and create confusion around you. They might twist your words, tarnish your reputation, or use their influence to undermine you. But take heart. No matter how skilled they are at deception, God sees through the smoke and mirrors. God is not like man who looks at outward appearances. He sees beyond the surface, beyond the manipulations, beyond the false narratives that others try to create. He knows the heart. He sees the truth of what is happening, even when no one else does. People may fail to recognize your pain. They might not understand the depth of what you're going through, but God is never unaware. He watches the actions of every individual and He knows their intention. Nothing escapes His attention. When others rise against you and try to destroy your peace, they may think that their lies or actions will go unnoticed, but they cannot fool God. He sees the hidden motives, the things that others may not even realize they are doing. God sees the heart behind the words, the agenda behind the actions. He is not fooled by appearances or shallow narratives. Even when someone tries to manipulate the situation, God knows the truth. He sees the bigger picture, and He sees you in it. This understanding can bring a great deal of comfort, especially when you're enduring a season of unfairness or mistreatment. You might feel isolated, abandoned, or betrayed, but you are never unseen in God's eyes. The enemy may be trying to destroy you with their words or actions, but God sees your pain and hears your cries. He is moved with compassion for you, and He will not stand by idly while His beloved child suffers. When you are wronged, when the narrative is twisted against you, know that God will act. He is the ultimate judge, and His justice is perfect. He sees what you cannot, understands what you don't, and knows the full story. People might speak lies, but God holds the truth in His hands, and in due time, He will bring it to light. You don't have to fight every battle on your own. God fights for you. He is your defender, your shield, and He will not let the lies of the enemy stand. Moreover, God sees not just the surface level of the conflict, but the deeper emotional and spiritual toll it takes on you. While the world may overlook your exhaustion, your sadness, or your brokenness, God understands the weight of what you're carrying. He sees your inner struggle, your desire for peace, and your longing for healing. And He is there with you every step of the way. He offers you comfort and peace, reminding you that no suffering is too small or too great for Him to notice. God's perspective is eternal. Where we may see only a fleeting moment of pain or a small part of the situation, He sees the entire span of our lives, the past, present, and future. He knows the outcome of every trial. While you may feel like you're in the midst of a battle, God sees the victory that lies ahead. He sees the person you are becoming through this struggle, the growth that comes from enduring hardship with faith. The pain you're feeling is not in vain. It has a purpose. God uses these moments of suffering to refine us, to draw us closer to Him, and to make us stronger. In the end, God's ability to see the truth gives you the assurance that you are never truly alone. Even when others misunderstand you or when your circumstances seem insurmountable, God sees you, and He is working even in ways you may not yet understand to bring about your good. He knows the depths of your heart, and His presence in your life is an unshakable promise that no evil, no manipulation, and no person can ever truly harm you in the way that matters most. In the midst of turmoil and conflict, when the storm seems to rage around you and the weight of your struggles becomes overwhelming, there is a promise from God that brings hope. He will provide peace. This peace is not like what the world offers, a temporary fix or a fleeting comfort. It is a deep, unshakable peace that surpasses understanding. The peace that God provides in the middle of chaos is one that guards your heart and mind, no matter the circumstances. When you are caught in the whirlwind of conflict, especially when dealing with someone who seeks to harm you, it often feels as though the emotional and mental pressure will never relent. The loud voices of accusation, manipulation, and hurtful words can drown out the still, small voice of calm. But God's peace is not dependent on the external circumstances. His peace is not something that fades when life gets hard. It is a peace that remains constant, a peace that holds you steady when everything around you seems to be falling apart. The kind of peace God offers is transformative. It doesn't just quiet the noise for a moment. It transforms your heart in the midst of it. When you are walking through an emotional or spiritual storm, it's easy to become overwhelmed by fear, anxiety, and doubt. You might wonder how you will make it through another day, let alone another confrontation or attack from the people who are trying to tear you down. But God's peace is different from anything this world can provide. It is not about escaping the problem or avoiding the pain. Rather, it is about experiencing His presence in the storm, a presence that steadies your soul even when everything else is uncertain. God's peace brings a sense of calm that settles within you, even when the winds of life are howling and the waves of difficulty seem ready to crash over you. The Apostle Paul, when writing about peace, described it as a peace that surpasses all understanding. This peace doesn't make sense to the world. It doesn't make sense that in the midst of betrayal, you can still stand firm with a sense of calm. It doesn't make sense that when everything is unraveling, you can hold on to joy and hope. But that's the very nature of God's peace. It transcends human understanding. It is not based on logic or human reasoning. It's rooted in the trust and assurance that God is in control and that He will carry you through whatever challenges you face. This peace that God gives also acts as a shield, guarding your heart and mind from the destructive forces of anxiety, fear, and bitterness. When you face betrayal or manipulation, the natural response might be to grow angry, defensive, or fearful. But God's peace guards your heart against these negative emotions. It prevents the corrosive effects of anger and resentment from taking root. Instead of being consumed by bitterness, you are able to respond with grace and calmness, choosing not to let the enemy's tactics control your emotions or your actions. In the midst of conflict, God's peace also brings clarity. When you're under attack, it's easy to become disoriented and unsure of how to respond. Should you defend yourself? Should you stay silent? In those moments, God's peace acts as an anchor, helping you focus on what truly matters. It gives you the ability to discern truth from lies, to speak with wisdom, and to make decisions that honor Him. This peace doesn't just settle your emotions, it grounds your mind, helping you navigate difficult situations with clarity and purpose. Furthermore, the peace God provides is a reminder that you are not alone. When you are facing a narcissist or any difficult person who seems to want nothing more than to bring you down, it is easy to feel isolated and unsupported. You might wonder where God is in your struggle, but His peace reminds you that He is present, that He is with you in the storm, and that He will never leave you or forsake you. The peace He offers is the tangible evidence of His presence, filling you with the assurance that even when people betray you or try to harm you, you are not abandoned. This peace is also a testimony to others. When the world sees you standing strong, calm in the midst of conflict, they will notice. They may wonder why you aren't reacting with anger or fear, why you aren't retaliating or lashing out in response to the hurt that's been done to you. And that is an opportunity to share the source of your peace. the presence of God in your life. In a world that is filled with anxiety and unrest, the peace that you experience can be a powerful witness to the transformative power of God's love and faithfulness. So, when the storms of life come, when the attacks from others seem relentless, remember this promise: God's peace will keep you. It will guard your heart, calm your spirit, and guide your steps. It will not only help you endure the trials you face, but it will also help you rise above them, responding in a way that honors God and reflects His love to a hurting world. This peace, which transcends all understanding, is a powerful gift from God, one that will never fail you as long as you place your trust in Him. When you find yourself in the midst of conflict or facing overwhelming circumstances, there is a profound truth that can sustain you. God strengthens you to stand firm. Life's difficulties can often feel like an unrelenting storm, with winds that batter against you and waves that threaten to pull you under. But God, in His infinite mercy and grace, does not leave you to face these trials alone. He strengthens you, equipping you with the power to endure, to stand tall, and to remain unshaken, no matter what comes your way. When a narcissist or anyone with harmful intentions seeks to undermine you, it's easy to feel weak, powerless, or even afraid. Their actions and words might be designed to break your spirit, to make you question your worth, and to instill fear within you. But this is where God's strength is made manifest. The strength He gives is not one that relies on your own abilities or understanding. It is a divine strength that rises up within you, enabling you to stand firm against every attack and every challenge. This is not a strength that comes from your own efforts, but from the Holy Spirit who resides within you, providing you with the power to rise above the circumstances. God's strength enables you to maintain your integrity and to keep your heart steadfast in His truth. When others are trying to tear you down, their goal is often to provoke a reaction from you, whether it's anger, defensiveness, or fear. But God gives you the strength to resist those temptations. You do not have to stoop to their level. You do not need to give in to the negative emotions that they try to stir up within you. Instead, God strengthens you to hold fast to His truth and to respond with wisdom, grace, and patience. His strength empowers you to remain grounded in His love, refusing to be swept away by the turbulence of the conflict. When you stand firm in God's strength, you are also able to keep a clear mind. In the heat of battle, it's easy to get caught up in the emotional storm. The enemy may try to confuse you, distort the situation, or create chaos in your mind. But God's strength provides clarity. He enables you to discern the truth, to see things from His perspective, and to make decisions that are in line with His will. When you feel overwhelmed, His strength brings a sense of calmness, allowing you to make thoughtful decisions rather than reacting impulsively or out of fear. God's strength is also what gives you the courage to stand firm in your faith. When others seek to shake your confidence or undermine your beliefs, you may be tempted to question your convictions, but God strengthens your faith, reminding you of who you are in Him and the truth of His promises. No matter how much pressure is placed on you, you can stand firm in the knowledge that God's word is unshakable and that His plans for you are good. His strength will enable you to hold on to your faith even in the face of ridicule, persecution, or adversity. This divine strength also carries you through times of suffering. There will be moments when the pain feels too great to bear, when the weight of the world seems to press down on you, and when you wonder if you can endure any longer. But God's strength is not just about enduring the easy moments. It is especially evident in the hardest of times. When you feel like you cannot go on, God's strength empowers you to take the next step, to continue moving forward with hope, knowing that you are not walking alone. His strength sustains you, providing you with the endurance needed to keep going, no matter how difficult the road may be. And when the battles seem to intensify, when the attacks grow stronger and more frequent, God's strength becomes even more evident in your life. It is in those moments that He lifts you up, giving you a resilience that can only come from Him. You may not understand how or why you are able to endure, but that's the beauty of God's strength. It's not about your own understanding. It's about relying on His infinite power and trusting that He is the one who sustains you through every trial. This strength also equips you to be a witness to others. When the world sees you standing firm in the midst of adversity, they will take notice. They will wonder how you are able to remain calm and steadfast when everything around you seems to be falling apart. It is in these moments that your faith becomes a testimony to God's power and grace. You can point others to the source of your strength, showing them that it is not your own abilities that are carrying you, but the strength of God that flows through you. This strength is a living testimony to the fact that God does not leave His children to fight alone. As you stand firm, you can take comfort in knowing that God is with you in every battle. He strengthens you to endure, to persevere, and to rise above the challenges that come your way. His strength is the foundation upon which you can build your life, and with it you can face any obstacle with courage and unwavering faith. God's strength is limitless, and when you rely on Him, you will never have to face life's challenges alone. When a narcissist or anyone with ill intentions seeks to harm you, it often feels as though you are powerless against their actions. Their manipulations can leave you feeling vulnerable, helpless, and trapped in a situation that seems impossible to escape. But there is one crucial truth you must hold on to. God has the power to remove what is harmful in your life. Nothing, no matter how entrenched or painful it may seem, is beyond His control. His ability to protect, guide, and ultimately remove harmful influences from your life is a demonstration of His unwavering love and care for you. God is not passive in your battles. He does not simply watch from the sidelines as you suffer. When you face someone who seeks to destroy you, whether through their words, their actions, or their manipulations, God is actively at work, even if you cannot see it. His sovereignty is not limited by the actions of others, and He can work in ways that you cannot yet comprehend. The enemy may seem to have the upper hand for a time, but God is a powerful force for good, and His power will always prevail over evil. One of the most powerful ways God removes what is harmful in your life is by removing people or situations that pose a threat to your well-being. This might not always happen in the way you expect or in the timing you would prefer, but God, in His wisdom, knows exactly what you need. He sees the toxic relationships, the people who bring manipulation or harm, and He knows the exact moment when it is time for them to be removed, whether it's by changing circumstances, convicting hearts, or simply allowing the person to drift away. God has the ability to step in and remove harmful influences from your life. There are times when the process of removal is not immediate, and in these moments it can be hard to understand why God allows certain individuals to remain in your life for a time. But know this: God's timing is perfect. He is not unaware of your suffering, and while it may feel unbearable at times, He is working in ways that you cannot see. He may be preparing you, strengthening you, or even using the difficult situation to refine your character. Through these experiences, God is making you stronger, teaching you lessons that will help you move forward in your faith and in your relationships. But rest assured that when the time is right, He will remove what is harmful from your life. In addition to removing toxic people, God also removes harmful mindsets and lies that have been ingrained in your heart and mind. When dealing with a narcissist or anyone who seeks to control, belittle, or manipulate you, it's easy to internalize their words and actions. They may have planted seeds of doubt, shame, or insecurity in your heart, and these harmful beliefs can take root over time. But God is in the business of removing these lies and replacing them with the truth of His Word. He can heal the wounds that others have caused and restore your sense of identity and worth. Through prayer, scripture, and His gentle, loving voice, God can remove the lies that have bound you and set you free from their power. Sometimes God's removal process involves shifting the focus of your attention. When you are caught up in the pain and injustice of a situation, it's easy to become consumed by it. You might spend every moment replaying the hurt or trying to figure out how to fix the situation. But God can remove the harmful influence of these thoughts and redirect your attention to what truly matters. Through His Holy Spirit, He can help you shift your perspective, allowing you to see the situation from His point of view. He will remind you that your worth is not defined by the actions of others, and that He is the one who holds the ultimate authority over your life. God's ability to remove harmful influences is also seen in His ability to change your environment. When you are in a toxic situation, it might feel as though escape is impossible, but God is not limited by your circumstances. He has the power to open doors and make a way where there seems to be no way. Whether it's a change in your work environment, a shift in your relationships, or a change in your living situation, God can lead you out of places of harm and into places of peace. Trust that in His perfect time, He will remove what is harmful and bring you into a space where you can thrive and grow. At times, God removes harmful influences by strengthening you to stand firm in the face of adversity. Even when certain people remain in your life for a time, God will give you the strength to withstand their harmful actions. He will equip you with wisdom to set healthy boundaries, with discernment to see their tactics for what they are, and with peace to not be shaken by their manipulation. God's protection is not always about removing the person or situation. Sometimes it is about equipping you with everything you need to endure it and not allow it to harm you. It is important to remember that, even when God removes something harmful from your life, He always has something better in store for you. His removal is not just about taking away, it's about making room for something new and greater. God wants to protect you, but He also wants to prosper you. His plans for you are good, and every act of removal is an act of love, designed to lead you into a place of greater peace, joy, and fulfillment. Trust that God knows what is best for you, and that as He removes what is harmful, He is guiding you towards something better, something more aligned with His perfect will for your life. When you experience betrayal, manipulation, or harm at the hands of others, especially from someone who is deliberately trying to destroy you, it's easy to feel broken, defeated, and lost. The emotional scars from such experiences can run deep, leaving you feeling as though you may never fully recover. However, in the midst of the pain, there is a profound truth. God is in the business of restoration. No matter how broken you may feel, God has the power to heal, rebuild, and transform your life in ways you cannot imagine. He specializes in taking what the enemy intended for harm and turning it into something beautiful. God's restoration process is not instantaneous, but it is complete. Healing from the damage caused by others may take time. There may be moments when you feel like the wounds will never fully close or that the scars will always remain. But God's restorative power works in layers, slowly but surely, as He heals every part of your heart, mind, and spirit. The pain you've endured will not define you. Instead, it will become a part of your testimony of how God brought you through and made you whole again. God does not just restore the surface. He goes deeper, reaching into the parts of your soul that need healing the most. When you are hurt by someone who has no regard for your well-being, it's easy to internalize that pain, to think that it's your fault or that you are somehow less than because of what was done to you. But God restores your identity. He reminds you that your worth is not determined by the actions of others. Your value is rooted in who He says you are, beloved, chosen, and fearfully and wonderfully made. Through his restoration, he helps you see yourself through his eyes, and he removes the lies that others have placed upon you. You are not defined by their rejection, their manipulation, or their harm. You are defined by God's love, grace, and purpose for your life. One of the ways God restores you is by healing your emotional wounds. The emotional scars left by a narcissist or anyone who seeks to tear you down can be long-lasting and difficult to heal. God, however, is the great healer. His love can reach into the deepest places of your heart, restoring your sense of peace and security. Where there was once fear, anxiety, and shame, God replaces it with his peace and joy. Where there was once sorrow, he fills you with hope. As you lean on him and surrender your pain to him, he begins the work of healing, bringing you to a place where you can move forward with renewed strength and courage. God also restores the broken relationships that may have been affected by the actions of those who sought to harm you. When a narcissist or toxic person tries to destroy you, they often leave behind a trail of damaged relationships. They may have turned others against you or made it difficult for you to trust those around you. But God is in the business of restoring relationships, whether it's through reconciliation or by giving you the wisdom to know when to walk away from relationships that are no longer healthy. He will bring healing to the relationships that are meant to be restored, and he will give you the strength to let go of the ones that have been broken beyond repair. Through God's restoration, you can find peace in knowing that he is in control of the relationships in your life, and he will guide you to the ones that will bring you closer to him and to those who will genuinely support and uplift you. Restoration also involves spiritual renewal. When you were wounded by others, especially when their attacks are personal and hurtful, it's easy to feel disconnected from God. You may question why he allowed the hurt to happen, or you may feel abandoned by him in the midst of your pain. But God's restoration brings spiritual healing, helping you to reconnect with him and to trust in his goodness once again. He will use the pain you've experienced to deepen your relationship with him, drawing you closer to his heart. Through prayer, worship, and time spent in his presence, he will restore your faith and remind you that he is with you, that he loves you, and that he is working all things for your good. God's restoration also involves giving you a new sense of purpose. When you have been hurt and torn down, it's easy to lose sight of your calling and your mission in life. The pain can cloud your vision, making it difficult to see beyond your current circumstances. But God's restoration is not just about healing your wounds. It's about setting you back on the path that he has ordained for you. He will remind you of the gifts and talents he has placed within you and the work he has called you to do. Even in the aftermath of destruction, God has a purpose for your life, and his restoration will equip you to walk in that purpose with renewed passion and clarity. Finally, God's restoration brings beauty from the ashes. You may not see how anything good can come from the pain you've endured, but God specializes in creating beauty from brokenness. He takes the shattered pieces of your life and makes them whole again, weaving them together into a story of redemption and grace. The scars that once seemed to mark you with shame will become testimonies of God's healing power and his ability to restore. What the enemy meant for evil, God will use for good, and through his restoration, you will become stronger, wiser, and more compassionate than you were before. God's restorative power is limitless. No matter how deep the wound, no matter how broken you feel, God is able to heal and restore you completely. He will take the shattered pieces of your heart and make them whole again. Through his love, grace, and power, he will restore what has been lost and give you a future filled with hope. In the face of manipulation, betrayal, or any attack by those who seek to destroy you, remember that you are never without hope. God's intervention in your life is both mighty and purposeful. He protects, strengthens, and empowers you to rise above the hurt and stand firm in his truth. Even when the battle seems overwhelming, God's peace guards your heart and mind. His strength carries you through, and His restoration brings you back to a place of wholeness. He removes harmful influences, heals emotional wounds, and rebuilds your life with a greater sense of purpose and beauty. As you walk through life knowing that God is with you, you are assured that no weapon formed against you will prosper. The attacks of others may be painful, but they will not have the final say. Trust in God's promises and lean on His power, for He is always working behind the scenes for your good. With God by your side, you are unstoppable. No matter what comes against you, His grace and love will see you through, bringing victory out of every trial.